Welcome to No Strings Attached Ministries. This is the prayer van. It's just sitting here at one of the rest stops along the ways. You know, the one thing that I was asked this morning is, you know, I was talking to this Christian fella, and he's like, yeah, he says, I only give it at church, and I scream about doing that even. He says, you know, they just take my money and feverishly just blow it away. I said, I never was too much of good of a tither, but I always thought it was a waste of money. And why is it my job to take care of that church, to support that ministry or whatever? So it's just foolishness. I asked him one question. I says, how long have you been saved? Saved about 44 years. And I'm like, wow. I said, do you remember back that day? He's like, of course I do. He says, I think pretty much everybody remembers those days. I said, let me just give you something to chew on a little bit. Well, I know there's a lot of people that sort of have the same feeling you do about it, about tithing and the work in ministry and giving. And so just let me give you some thought here, something I want you to really think about a little bit. I might give you something to, I'm not here to convince you or, you know, to argue with you or deny you or agree with you. But I just feel I need to give you something to chew on, to think about, and to pray about. So I proceeded to tell him, I said, you know, ministries and things like that cost a lot of money to produce, to do what they need to do, to, like mine for instance, buy gas, repair the van when it breaks, to feed me as well, to reach out and help the homeless as I go along, maybe buy a pair of shoes or even a tent or a bed. Might even put a family in a motel room for the night, you know, that's out in the cold and wet. I said, all this costs money. He says, I said, where do you think that all comes from? I said, that's right, I work really hard for that money every year. And I save, and I save, and I save. And so, well, way above what the Lord calls for me to do. The Lord only asks for each one of us of 10%. And that's really the only reason that He asks that is to show us and give us discipline and to teach us that we have to have an open heart and a loving heart to be able to continue on. I said, the day you got saved and all the miraculous things that happened to allow the world to offer you salvation and to bring that message to you, what do you think the people's sacrifices that was all in line to do just that? Maybe someone met you along the highway. What did it cost for them to get there? Maybe it was the church that you walked into. How much did they pay their pastor? How much did it cost to keep the lights on that church and even open the doors that day? Or better yet, every day that week, because they were only able to show you an opportunity to you maybe once or twice a week. But those bills continue. What if you got saved by a missionary that came over into your foreign land and brought you the message? Have you ever considered the miles that that person traveled? And what the commitment of sacrificing their entire life just so they could bring you the message? You know, a lot of people don't realize that and think about that. So I ask anybody and everybody that, you know, feels that they don't think it's worthy to support. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're even on Social Security or have no income at all. What have you sacrificed to pay back? To give someone else the opportunity to receive the love and the ability to even know about Jesus. So before you look at your bills and look at your bank account and say, I don't have enough, who gave you what you have now? Who give you the right to even think of such a shallow miracle? Look at this way. There's someone there paying even that for you. Say you're on food stamps and government. Who do you think pays that? Yeah, taxpayers. So life is tough. Either we work for it or we have someone else work for it for us. So always consider before you condemn someone in what they do, ask yourself one thing. What's the value of your salvation? What would happen if God would turn the cycle around and say, all right, everybody that's going to get saved is going to have to pay a fee to get into heaven? How much would you pay? How much do you think is enough or worth it? What would it be? And how much would it be for you to actually say, no, it's not worth it? How shallow is your Christianity? How much do you really want to be with God? And that's something highly thought-provoking. I'm not here to, to make you feel bad or understand. I'm trying to crack a hard heart and to show you the value of why people do ministry and the sacrifice that they do it just for you. An agape love act just for you, because that person and them people thought you were worth every dollar that it cost them for your salvation. Think about what I said. Have a nice day.